All right, I guess you can hear me now, right? Can you guys hear me now? Yasin? Yes? No? You hear me now, guys? Still not audible? Yeah, you can. There you go. I know there's a problem with this. Something had started since Saturday, and for the life of me, I don't know what it is. It recognizes Scarlet 212, I guess what it is, and then second later it doesn't recognize it. So I have to put it on the regular default built-in microphone. It's not a better quality, but until I find out what it is. So, hello everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Jack is here. How you doing, Jack? Good to see you, dear. Elizabeth is here. Hello, Elizabeth. Remember, guys, I need the protocol. Gender, age, where are you tuning in from? A little info. I know Jack is what? 23 UK. Am I right, Jack? Oh, I've forgotten. You haven't been here for a while. Elizabeth, I've got no idea where you are, how old you are, and you know, the rest of it. So let me know. Three things: gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. And Reese Farougia says, hello, Mehran. Long time no speak. Hope you are doing well. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Guys, remember, I remember many of you, but I just remember that you've been here. But I don't remember age, gender, and where you guys tuning in from. Please let me know that, because it's important for me to know who I'm talking to and how, what the age is, and if it's proper for the certain discussions, or how to address you and all that. So Aman is here. Hello, Aman. Yasin is here. Chinmay is here. Thank you. Good day, Mehrani says. And and Ash is here. Says, have I just signed into the sign language labs? Yes, you did. You did. Well, we just upgraded it a little bit. Ed Clark, thank you for that. Says, hi, Mehran, 33, male UK. Thank you for that. Elizabeth says, I'm female, 36, New York. Aha, Elizabeth, I now kind of remember something, because the places also triggers the memory. I think in New York, that's where maybe last time I recognized Elizabeth and New York. And then Gatto, I'm sure that he's from Italy. Let's see. Gatto, male, 34, Italy. There we go. And Yasin, male, 21 years old, India. Okay, hello everyone. And good of you to join me here. So let's have a conversation on what concerns you in regards to, there was one here. Yasin said, intrusive images towards my family female member. Is this because of watching porn? Please help. No, it's intrusive thoughts. Whether you watch porn or you don't watch porn, it may come up. And if you watch lots of porn, well, obviously it's going to affect the way you look at women before you get to know what you're all about, how you should be properly behaving. And you will properly behave physically and outwardly, but in your mind, because of all the porn, you see them as sexual objects, and a woman, female, and then you remember how the woman, female's role in the porno was, so you end up creating association of creating all those sort of thoughts that you were talking about. So, and remember, as long as it's thoughts, and that's what happened with the brain, that it goes, you know, making thoughts all day long, that it does. That's what it's designed to. Depends on what kind of information is fed into the brain gets a hold of that information and makes thoughts of it, whatever it is. The brain doesn't know who you are, doesn't care who you are. The brain only makes thoughts. So the thoughts that it makes is not about you. It's not about necessarily trying to tell you a message, or it's not about your gender. If the thought comes up with some kind of a idea or suggestion or images that you're not the gender that you've always been, or you are changing to a different gender, or all other kind of intrusive thoughts, these are irrelevant to you. They're just thoughts that the brain is making based on all these information that have been seeped through the consciousness, through media, television, discussions about people's personal lifestyle. That is now, it's not a private thing anymore. It's talked about it on TV, talked about different sexual orientations, talks about different sexual lifestyles, talks about different, all kinds of things through billboards, through images. All these are flooded into the brain, and guess what? Brain is a thought manufacturing machine. Picks up whatever material is there and makes thoughts to them and associates that with certain things and whatnot that it's been, introduced to the world. So it's a thought manufacturing machine. It makes thoughts and the images and the suggestions, and you seem to think brain is an authority in your life. So you follow it and think there's a message, there is some kind of a credibility to what it conjures up. None of that is true. It's just an independent system and makes thoughts. No different than your intestine turns, when the food is digested, turns it into feces and poops out. It makes poo-poo. It doesn't think that you like or you don't like poo-poo. I gotta find out, oh, that's inappropriate, I shouldn't fart or I shouldn't make feces. That's its job. You give it food, it turns into energy, and a bunch of it becomes poo-poo. You gotta go poo it out in the bathroom. Brain has a job. Whatever information seeps through and is thrown at it through the media, through the world, through television, through people's lifestyle, through information that is out there, it's not going to care about if it's proper for you or not. It's just going to make thoughts. But you seem to think that the brain is an authority. It is beyond you. You're supposed to follow the brain, that it's intelligence. No, none of that. The brain is just a machine, mechanical machine, and it's stupid as it comes. You are the judge. You are the one who should be able to have that wisdom to see, what are my values? What is my core principles? What are the things that are meaningful to me in life? What are the things that are valuable to me, that I am holding them sacred in my gatekeeper, in my wise advocate, in my super consciousness? That's where I hold my values. So any of these thoughts, intrusive thoughts that the brain makes as an independent system that enters or pops up in your mind, you're supposed to gauge it against these values. Based on the values that I have and I hold sacred and important, including anything that I want to be the way I want it to be in this life, whatever I believe, how I want to treat people, how things are appropriate for me, what my sexual orientation is, what my gender is, everything that is your identity, you hold sacred and you protect it in your core principles where you hold them all safe. So you gauge all these thoughts against these values, and if they don't measure up, you simply say, they don't meet my values, therefore you let the thoughts fall by the wayside. You don't focus on them. You don't try to interpret them. You don't try to figure out why it's there. What does it mean? Nothing. There's no meaning. It's just the brain makes thoughts. If you understand this and separate yourself from the brain, separate yourself from thought, and understand that you're the boss of it all, you're the one who chooses what thoughts are useful to you or meets the values or it's in line with your values and what is not, then you are free from all that nonsense. Instead of thinking that, oh, a thought popped up, so that must mean something. No, it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. You simply focus on what it is that you want to be, what it is that you are, what it is that you've always been, what it is that how it is that you want to behave and so on. then you go on with your life without paying attention to these things, because you are the only person in this world that can allow or turn any thought into action or not, give them actuality or not. If you don't choose, you're totally in command. If you don't give that permission to a thought, idea, image, suggestion turn into actuality through actions, then that thought never is of any kind of a threat to you whatsoever. It can never have existence, because thought is just an idea. It has no existence. It has no power. It has no intelligence. It's just something that is a product of what has been available out there, shown, and then brain makes thoughts. Brain is not you, you're not the brain. Thought is not you, you're not thoughts. If you understand this and separate yourself, you understand that you're the boss. Brain is a tool, apparatus that works for you, and brain uses its abilities to make thoughts, and you use brain's abilities to make thoughts that is useful to you, to learn something, calculate something, manufacture something, design something, accomplish something. That's when you are using the abilities and apparatus of the brain. But most of the time, brain uses its own apparatus and capabilities to make thoughts, all meaningless, useless, and irrelevant to you. You got to understand that. Something pops up, doesn't mean that you're going to choose it or you agree with it. It has anything to do with you. Like you go to a bazaar or a store and they've got all kind of products and everybody's trying to sell you something. Buy this, buy that. This is a good quality. You are the one who chooses. Should I pay attention to these offerings, or I just diss them and go about my business, find the store that I'm looking for and find the product that I'm looking for? That's all I want here. I don't care about what other things are out there and is being presented and constantly trying to push on me. Same thing with thoughts. Thought makes thoughts, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day, all kind of garbage, all kind of irrelevant things. You're the one who says, I've got no interest in this, no interest in this, none of that. I don't even pay attention to what you do. I only pay attention to what I want to use the brain for. The thought that I think is useful to me, and I want to make that, I want to use the brain's capability to make those thoughts, calculate something, figure out something. That is how you use the brain. Simple. The rest of it is just nuisance, is going to interfere and try to give you some kind of a confusion in any aspects of life. Don't fall for that. Separate yourself from thought, because it is so, and then you will live relaxed without being bamboozled or fooled by the mechanism of brain. And brain is very powerful. If you end up not being aware of this whole separation of brain and you start believing the brain, and then you're going to follow something that is actually has got no knowledge of what you want in this life. It's just a thought manufacturing machine. So do not take thoughts as an authority, because we are always accustomed since childhood to look up for an authority, a leader to follow. Father, mother, teacher, policeman, boss in the companies, managers, whatever it is that somebody's in authority. We have been conditioned to look for authority, and for that reason you're also accepting your brain as authority, because you're conditioned to have an authority. But that is not any authority. Brain works for you. It's subordinate to you. Do not consider the brain as authority when it pops up with an idea. That's the beginning of the downhill and the confusion. You stick with who you are. There is a me first, and then the brain has been added to it. 40,000 years ago, we had no such brain. We had the stem brain, and we were living like any other animal, instinctively. We eat when we had to eat, we hunt when we had to eat, we had sex when we had to sex. Our sexuality was very clear, hardwired, no doubts about anything, no suggestion, no thoughts, because we couldn't think. We had no capability of thinking or speaking. So there was no interference of thoughts or suggestion, ideas coming, because we were not capable of thinking. So everything was clear. No confusion. Sleep when you wanted to sleep, eat. Your sexuality orientation was clear to you. No confusion whatsoever, because there was no thought to create any trouble. Thoughts are the roots of all troubles. That's why you have to understand you're not thoughts. Thoughts are not you. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. When the thought was added, capability of thinking was added to us 40,000 years ago, that's when the problems started. Because the brain is an independent system. It creates all kinds of, conjures up all kinds of connotations for itself based on what's been available and what's been fed as far as information, and that every brain gets to know in this world. Don't get confused. You are separate from thoughts, but you're boss of thoughts. You're boss of everything in your existence. And you choose. You always have your choice. You only focus on what you are, what you've always been, what you've always wanted to be, what you are, and what you always want to continue to be and enjoy in any aspect, your sexual orientation, your gender, and everything else in your life. You only focus on what you are. And you always have a choice, no matter what brain conjures up and suggests images, suggestion, thoughts. You have the power to choose. Brain cannot force that on you because you are the one who chooses what can become an actuality, what cannot. And as long as you're the choice maker, you're the one in control to make choices, no thought and nobody out there can ever threaten you, trouble you, because you're the decision maker. Definitely in the case of brain and its suggestions. All right, let's go on to Elizabeth. Says, question for you, Mehran. Do you believe in destiny is what we make of? Do you believe in destiny is what we make of? Or what fate brings us to destiny? No. If you make the right preparation, right education, if you have the right education, right pondering, right plans, and you follow those, and if there are no interference from outside, you make your own destiny based on what your efforts and intentions and focus is. And there is no such thing, a grand plan that is going to be given to you, or that's the path you have to go, or I have to, be okay with it, that's my destiny. No such bullshit. That's how they've been putting into our head in most cases. Some things, maybe there are some interference or some influences of the nature, energy, and so on. That's not destiny. But mostly these sort of things have been romantically talked about in stories just to make things a little bit more hopeful, and sometimes been used to control you in order to get benefit from your efforts and your abilities. They make you believe that that's your destiny. You got to sit there and just do nothing and do what we tell you. That's your destiny. That's your position. Who says that? You can change your stars and go change them. Chinmay says, us Indians always join the late night conversation. Ah, yeah, it is late over there, isn't it? It's like 2 o'clock. Igotre says, what should I do? Igotre, where is the protocol? Age or gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. I gotta know that. I gotta know who I'm talking to, guys. How old you are, if you should be here or not, and what gender you are, so I address you properly, and where you're tuning in from. So it gives me a little bit of a cultural background of some sort. Elizabeth says, for example, I heard if he is meant to be Set him free and he will come back. You have no choice but set people free anyhow. You can't control them. Like I should stalk or get nervous my boyfriend would cheat. You can't stop a thief from stealing. You can't be constantly looking over your shoulder who's doing what. Whether they're good people, they're not going to steal other people's things, or they're thieves. You can't stop that. So don't worry about trying to focus to control other people's behavior, but find out if their behavior is not meeting with your standards, and get rid of them. Just say bye bye. I'm not going to be constantly act as a policeman. What did you do? Where'd you go? What did you say? Are you telling the truth? It's just if two people don't have the maturity to be reasonably honest with each other, it's going to be a drama and hindering of your energy all day long to make sure, am I being faced with the truth? Is this person is telling the truth? Is she gone to this place or haven't? Has she been flirting behind my back or not? Is she actually as strict and as ladylike as she is when she is with me? Or is she just having it, you don't have time for that. You got to know each other better in order before you get into a serious relationship. Yeah, no, Elizabeth, no, no. It's all pretty much up to you. Some things happens by accident, coincidence. Yeah, it's fine, but that's not destiny. It's just the way it happens. And some things are pleasant. We call them, oh, destiny was meant to be. Or something is really not good. Well, well, you lucked out to find out. Yeah, that's true in a way, but that's how it turned out. Not that there was a account there that let's put this wrong person in front of this girl, and then they would break up, and then it would be called, oh, it's your destiny, it wasn't meant to be. So if it wasn't meant to be, what the hell did it all started? So it's all accidental, but then through the process of getting to know each other, you figure out things about each other that you didn't know at the beginning, because at the beginning you were just um, attracted to each other based on certain kind of criterias that it is not bonding on consciousness. But when you get to know each other on consciousness level, a little later on, through negotiating through life, seeing how you behave in life and treat each other, then you figure out, oh, this person is not suitable. Then you get rid of each other, or conflicts and divisions appear. And then you say, oh, it wasn't meant to be. Well, yeah, it wasn't meant to be because you didn't know about each other. If you knew what you know now at the beginning, we would never started to say it wasn't meant to be. It would never be started to let go and then break up and say it wasn't meant to be. It's all lack of information, and when we don't have this information, we think, well, it's meant to be. Well, why do you say it's meant to be? You still don't know that person well enough. Maybe there will be stuff happening that you will say, no, I don't want this person. Then you're going to say, well, it's breaking up. Oh, well, it wasn't meant to be. Then how come at the beginning it was meant to be? Neither of them meant to be or not meant to be. It's about knowing each other or not knowing each other. When you don't know each other, you think everything is good. When you behave properly towards each other, you think it's all good. When you get to know each other, see there's shitty stuff happening in the brain of the other one, or the way you treat each other, then you say, well, I don't want this. And then when you break up, say it's not meant to be. Well, yeah, okay, of course it's not meant to be, because it's not compatible. All right. Ego says, I'm 18, straight male, come from Greece. All right. So your question was, where's your question? Question. Ah, Ego says, what should I do if people who have their own issues rage on me? Am I too nice? Well, when you see someone is behaving badly, don't socialize with them anymore, or less, shorter period of time. And when they rage on you, say, hey, why are you raging on me? You have issues? Well, deal with them. I'm a friend. I'm not here to trouble you. So don't trouble me with your uh, lack of understanding of where you should focus your anger towards. I didn't cause you the problem, so why am I getting your behavior, your attitude? Simple. And then move on from from their environment, go into a different environment. Magaman says, I'm having intrusive thoughts. Yeah, everybody has intrusive thoughts. The key is not that, oh, what do I do? So everybody has intrusive thoughts, but we notice the intrusive thoughts and we understand it's an intrusive thoughts, then you don't pay attention to it. You focus on what it is that you want to focus in that day, in that moment, in that whatever it is that your energy and focus should be on, not on intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts, as I mentioned, is part of the brain's function, but doesn't mean that you should pay attention to it or interpret it or figure out why it's there. It's there because that's what the brain does, makes intrusive thoughts all day long. But we have a system in the midbrain called striatum, mainly caudate nucleus. A caudate nucleus is a system that is supposed to automatically shut down the intrusive thoughts based on its inner knowledge about who you are, your gender, your inclinations, your values, your faith, whatever it is that makes you to be who you are. It's known to the system, and the system shuts down intrusive thoughts that are contrary to that values, those values that you're holding sacred. But caudate nucleus sometimes goes out of whack and malfunctions. It's like the automatic gear of a car that's supposed to automatically change gear when it gets to a certain speed, or gear down when it gets to a lower speed, and it does that automatically. But sometimes it malfunctions and you actually got to grab the shift and place it into the gear. Same thing. Caudate nucleus, when it malfunctions, it doesn't shut down the intrusive thoughts. So intrusive thoughts linger. When they linger in the brain, you think they mean something because they're here. They didn't go away. Yeah, they didn't go away because something is broken. It's not working. It doesn't mean that it didn't go away. That means it's pertaining you, it's describing you, or you're supposed to adhere to it. None of that shit. It just means now it's time for you to act manually. In other words, recognize that is an intrusive thought, a thought that is not in line with your values, a thought that you don't like it to be there. Whatever it is, you're the one who chooses. You're in command. You say that's not the thought that I would like to be around with. That's not a thought that it would suitable to my values. I am not inviting these thoughts. I'm not interested in these sort of thoughts. Then what you do, you simply recognize that it's intrusive thoughts. It's not suitable to you. Then you focus on what it is that you should be focusing on. That is the behavior that is doing the job of the automatic shift, but is doing it manually. When you keep doing this, the brain gets the idea that, hey, these sort of thoughts are not being entertained here. They're not interested in this. So therefore, I should not make him as much. It learns that it has no interest because there's no shine, there's no light shined upon him. There's no interest. There's no attention to them. There's no interaction with these thoughts. This person, this persona, this entity doesn't entertain these thoughts. And through this behavior, you're rewiring your brain through neuroplasticity that your behavior shows I'm not interested in this, and after a while the brain learns these sort of thoughts are not welcomed here, and it produces them less and eventually nothing. And when it does, you know what it is, and you treat it the same way again and again. It sees no light and no attention to, and falls by the wayside. That's how you rewire and get the coded nucleus click back into automatically doing it again and resetting itself. So, having said that, Ash says, Mehran, good to see you. Good to see you, Ash, as well. Thank you for that. So it's good to see you again, my friend. Since I've been gone, I've begun to look like Rasputin. I've started having suicidal thoughts. Are you kidding me? And feel like I have no one to talk to, even when I try. Well, listen. You can read a biography of people that have been defeated the odds against them, stories that are true, and you learn and get inspiration from them, that how they changed their stars and the atrocities and the negativities that was being thrown at them in life. Find people of that kind of a story and learn from the power that the forefathers or the people before us have gone through, and empower yourself by that education. Otherwise, what do you gain with suicide? What? You will never have any chance or opportunity to deal with anything because you wouldn't even be here anymore. So what good is that? It's not like, okay, I commit suicide, so therefore the pain or the things that bothers me will no longer bother me. It won't bother you because you wouldn't even be there to see if it bothers you or not. You can't benefit from the fruits of your action. Supposedly, you commit suicide and you think there's no more pain or problem. There's no more pain or problem. You won't even be there to sense there's no more pain or problem. You won't exist. So what solution is that? It's simply giving into the problem, allowing something that is just idea, fictitious, to actually take your existence, the most precious gift that we have been given in this life, experiencing, learning. That's why we're here, to deal with these feelings of suicidal thoughts and this kind of a negativity and that, and learn how to overcome them. That's why we're here, to get this knowledge, this experience, to be stronger, to learn how to deal with it, and then teach others and help others to make our species stronger mentally and physically. That's why we're here. We're not here to say, oh, I've got pain, so I don't want it, so I got to commit suicide so I can get rid of it. Yeah, you get rid of it. Where are you? You get rid of yourself. You don't get rid of the problem. You get rid of yourself. That's not the issue. Our core principles and program is survival. You defeat everything that wants to defeat you. That's how you look at it. If suicidal thoughts are what's trying to challenge you, you defeat that. Anything negative is your food for breakfast. You destroy that. That's how you live. Otherwise, I can walk out and the first person that says, utters some negative words for me, I go, oh, I don't want that, so I'm going to go kill myself. It's not a solution. It's escape. Escape from what? It's escaping when you don't even know you escaped, because you don't exist to even know that you've escaped. So that's the worst thing than anything else. So find remedy and stop this nonsense. You're too smart for that anyhow. Don't talk like that. I'll get the ugly stick and just get on the plane, even though, we can't fly. Just come and notch this. Drive this into your head and put your motorcycle helmet on, because I'm coming. And this is my family who live with argue all the time and have issues of their own. Meanwhile, I lock myself away because of my problems and theirs. I want to escape. Can't. I live with narcissists. Well, that is an experience that you can now turn it into a laboratory experience. You can become an expert and start writing a book that I am living in the family, my story, and then you observe their behavior and how you react to it, how each one of them react to it, and you can learn how narcissistic behavior is. And with that book, that you can edit it and eventually turn it into things that one can observe. Others can also learn what narcissism in the family is. So you create a project out of it, make a log, make observations, and then describe that behavior. Before you know it, through this pandemic, you have created something valuable that you have learned from it to begin with. And you could also maybe put it as some kind of a bullet points that other people could look for to see how their family gauges against narcissism behavior and how to deal with narcissism, because you are becoming expert in learning what works and what doesn't work. Make notes of it. These are observations. This is your opportunity to learn. Sometimes these accidental things happen. You turn them into something very valuable for you as an opportunity to educate yourself, the education that you cannot get from any school or university, but you can actually use that for maybe some kind of a thesis or some kind of a project that later on could be used. You don't have to, introduce it as your own family, but you can see the family that you had the chance to live with for a while. So it will be anonymous in a way, but at the same time, the information would be quite useful. And Ash says, also, I'm dealing with HOCD still, but it's not as strong. Yeah, well, HOCD will go away. Don't worry about that too much. Just focus on your life. And right now, so many people are hit by HOCD that I don't know what's going on in the world. It's, I don't know, 5G, it's being separated from social activities, whatever it is, you're not alone. You're not alone. If not everybody, so many people are hit with it. Somehow that automatic shut off feature is gone malfunction to almost everybody. Whatever the reason is, I don't know. Magnetic fields, pandemic of being alone, not being active, the brain doesn't find occupation to find security in it because so many things are limited now. So your brain's activities are limited. So it goes inwardly and tries to find all kind of shit. And its job is to be negative. Its job is to find threats, or if it's not there, create threats. So it finds it what's the most important thing in everyone's life? Their sexuality. So it attacks you in order to create work for itself, to be occupied, to find some kind of a security for itself. It doesn't understand that it's actually making you insecure and upset. But it's thinking about, I got to create something that it constantly goes on. So through that going on activity, the brain, find order, because everything else has been diminished in its activities, social activities, other job activities, everything, all activities are limited. So it doesn't have enough things to occupy itself, and through that occupation find order and security. So it conjures up shit. And it's doing it for everybody because the brain works in the same way pretty much in every brain in the world. So many people, more than ever before, are being hit with HOCD because that's the most important thing in their life, their sexuality, and the brain is attacking that in order to create constant activity in the brain, and through the activity and occupation create that kind of a certain kind of a fictitious order and busyness. So it can find security, because the brain's security is not in the physicality. It needs occupation to be busy in order to feel secure. And when everything is limited down to the way it is going right now, the pandemic and everything else, schools and everything is in the house, and people don't get to do all the things they used to do and be active in so many other tangents. So it's limited with this activity, so it feels insecure. So it's going to go find threats in order to create some kind of activity for it. to be continuous and feel, oh, I'm occupied, so I have a place to be. Because the brain finds its place in occupation, not in physicality. Okay, I'm physically safe, my body, my face is here, my hands here, I'm in my apartment, the door is locked, and I'm in a good part of town. So I feel safe. But the brain doesn't find safety in physicality, it finds safety in occupation. And since it's not occupied these days, it finds occupation. How? By conjuring up shit that it goes on forever. So it's trying to create malfunctions. And you got to know that. Don't give a shit. Say, listen, motherfucker, I'm going to train you the way you should be behaving. So I'm not going to pay any attention to you so you won't be fucking occupied by creating these nonsenses. I won't give you that occupation. So you pass by whatever effort it tries to make and get your attention and bamboozle you and confuse you. Don't pay attention to confusion. Focus. Keep your eyes on the prize and keep going on what you are, what you like to be, your choice, regardless of what the brain's fucking suggestion is. You got it? I hope you understood my French words that I used in this conversation. All right, laugh it off, guys. Laugh it off. Don't bow to challenges. We do not bow to challenges. All right. So, who do we have here? We have Wine Love. Says, hi, Miran, I'm back. All right. And who might that be? I remember that name, but I don't remember the person. Female, 29, Los Angeles. Thank you for that. I remember it was a pleasant screen name, which is true. But I don't remember anything else, the conversation or the questions. Ash says, I don't want to give up on life. Well, you better not. Otherwise, if you do, then you will have me on your grave doing all kinds of weird things with this, ugly stick, You'd be feeling it, even though you wouldn't be there, but you'd be feeling it. So, mind your manners. Says, but I'm having more thoughts about just ending things. I'm sorry to bring this to the chat, but this is born out of hopelessness. I know I'm stronger than this. Of course you are. Hopelessness. I don't care what situation you have in your life right now, but you were a winner to be born in this world. Every one of us, one kind or another, to begin with, we're chosen ones. We're born. When our parents tried to, have a little hanky-panky going, there were 300 million sperms in that hanky-panky. Out of that 300 million, you're the one who was born. Guess what? You were strong enough to beat out 300 million other candidates to enter this world and experience this life, as bad or good it may be. So you have that power to beat off odds. Fucking unleash it now. That's when you need it. In life, we may need that so many times. And every time, if you rely back on your background, on the history of your winning streak, which was over 300 million other possibilities that were running for the same goddamn chance to come to this earth, to this life, you won. You beat them all. To begin with, you're capable. That doesn't go away as long as you understand your roots. Your roots are based in strength, in power, in speed, in abilities, in ability to resolve challenges, which you did for your life. And if this is for your life as well, which everything in our life is, then you must rise above it. So as Palpatine says, rise. You can do it. You did it before, even though you didn't know, but it was automatic system. So it's not having to do with thoughts. It's automatically, instinctively in you to survive and beat odds. Go to it. You know how it's done. You've done it before. So stop talking nonsense. What am I going to do with all these pandemic things finishes and I want to put tours around the world, hopefully someday. And then wouldn't I have Ash in the UK to come and take the money from people and check the tickets? Or at least sit there and, clap for my jokes. All right, let's go on to Magaman Hancho. Magaman Hancho says, I'm having inappropriate, intrusive thoughts. Okay, welcome to the human race. For 4 weeks, well, that's not long enough. And I need to know, how can I stop this? You don't. You do not stop intrusive thoughts. You ignore intrusive thoughts. It's like a living hell. Yes, I understand. I understand a thought is not me. I keep thinking it too. No, don't think anything. Just recognize. Just recognize. This is intrusive thought. It's not me. So, I mean, look, its image is intrusive. It's annoying. It's damn annoying. It's so annoying that you just, feel like you don't want to exist. But it's a thought. It gets its power and shine from the light that you shone on it. Meaning you pay attention to it, it becomes alive and becomes powerful. You don't pay attention to it, it's like in the shadow, it's in the darkness, and nobody can see it, and it dies from lack of attention. You suffocate intrusive thoughts. How? Because its food is your attention. If you don't give it attention, it suffocates it. It's like cancer cells. You deprive them from oxygen, they die. You deprive the intrusive thoughts from your attention, it dies. It cannot live without attention. It only comes alive if you pay attention to it. What it's doing, what it says, what it means, what should I do? I have to prove to it that it's not right. I have to prove to it none of that shit. Simply ignore it. It dies. It cannot survive without attention, energy. From attention, you give it energy. From that energy, it stays alive and lingers. You don't give it attention, it goes into darkness, cannot see anything, stumbles and dies, falls on its own knife. And that would be your natural reaction to intrusive thoughts. And after a while, you become an expert in that. Oh, intrusive thoughts, oh, fuck it. I got to do my own thing. So you focus on other things. By focusing on other things, you deprive the focus to intrusive thoughts and you suffocate them from attention. Lack of attention and energy, discussion with the intrusive thoughts, lack of attention and energy and discussion, debating and data hunting with the intrusive thoughts, it suffocates it and kills it because it wouldn't have any reason to live. Instead of you not having reason to live, make it have no reason to live. And it automatically dies while you're simply focusing on your life and the things that are interested in you, that you are interested in. That's all. That's what you do. But you got to keep doing it. Keep doing it without break all the time. And that rewires your brain through neuroplasticity. You become automatic in that dealing and in that negotiation, in that treatment of these sort of nonsenses and nuisances. And then you won't even think about it anymore because you naturally, it's like you're going about your business and flies come in. At first you get really annoyed and all that. And after a while it becomes part of your trouble. Oh, there flies here. You don't bother. You don't be worried about, oh, why am I doing? Why do I have to do this? No, just say, okay, dumb. You hit them all and go. And then you continue wherever it is that you want to go. Make that to be your default behavior. Intrusive thoughts, no attention over there. Attention away from intrusive thoughts. How? By focusing on something else. By focusing on your life. By focusing on what you prefer. I don't care how intrusive it could be, how long it lingers, you keep on doing what you gotta be doing. Eventually that dies. Because you're the entity. You're the living being. That is just a added malfunction, that's all. All right. Rewire. These repetitious behavior and the way you behave with the intrusive thoughts rewires you. And when you rewire it, it has no choice. It just can't get anywhere anymore. Wine Love says, my ex wanted to sleep with me a lot in the beginning, but he stopped initiating first later on in our relationship. We dated for 2 years and no sex for a few months. I tried to initiate right before we broke up, but he wasn't aroused and told me was tired. I felt so rejected and hurt my ego. Felt like he was cheating on me. Never found proof. And that's why we weren't intimate anymore. I keep thinking of that day, feeling unwanted in my sexy lingerie, feel rejected and not beautiful as woman. Please help my soul. Well, listen, it's like telling me, somebody came to the restaurant and they put spaghetti in front of him and he didn't eat it. And then the spaghetti says, oh my goodness, now nobody likes me. Look, everybody else in the world is having spaghetti, and doesn't matter how many other people say, I don't like spaghetti. Spaghetti still is delicious, nutritious, and everybody likes it. And it doesn't make any change to the spaghetti and how other people love it. That person doesn't like spaghetti, doesn't change the spaghetti. It just makes that person is dumb enough not to like spaghetti. That's all. Or it doesn't have the taste for it. But it doesn't change the fact that the spaghetti is tasty, nutrition, good aroma, and delicious. So think about yourself, you're spaghetti. So somebody doesn't like you, doesn't make you change. It makes them just not be good enough and have good enough taste to like a spaghetti. But there are so many other people who would cherish you, love you, like you, if you have the opportunity, get to know you, and so on and so forth. The problem is that you think there's only one person who could ever give value to spaghetti, but the spaghetti says, I don't need your value system. I know who I am delicious, I'm nutritious, I taste good, and everybody else likes me, or 2 other people like me. I don't care about who doesn't like me. I only care about that I like me and other people who like me. That's all. That's how you should be focused on your life. Your worth and value and sexiness and all that is not limited to this person's, who died and left him in charge to decree if you're sexy or not, to decree if you're lovable or not, to decree if you've got values and class and all that or not. He thinks that way. You don't think that way, and other people don't think that way. Even if there's only 1 or 2 other people in the world, that's what you focus on, not on the person who doesn't like spaghetti. Doesn't like spaghetti? Take the plate off of the table. Put it back in the kitchen. Keep it warm for another person who is thirsty for delicious food. There you go. Wine Love. All right. Egot says, I believe in you. Oh, thank you. T says, hi, I'm 20 and from the UK. And man, woman, what's your gender? What do we do when? First, we don't stutter. Just say when once. When we get this anxiety when we see a good-looking guy. Nothing. You're entitled to notice a good-looking guy. What's wrong with it? Especially if one is good-looking, is always going to notice the good looks of the others, because it's certain kind of a pleasantry, it's certain kind of a affirmation that, oh, he's in my group, I'm good looking, and that person is good looking. What's wrong with noticing good looking? We're designed to notice good designs, good looks. It represents discipline, represents abilities, capabilities, well-groomed, cleaned up, good looks. It represents good quality, at least aesthetically. And we're designed to recognize good looks of other people. That's the first thing we do, because we're interested to be interacting with good-looking people more than we would be inclined to deal with not so good-looking people. It's just nature of a human being. We like good-looking things. When you go to a store, what do you look for? A good-looking suit, or a suit that doesn't look that good, but it's a suit? Naturally, you would pay attention to the better design, you know. Or if you are a lady, you want to buy a handbag, you're going to look at Louis Vuitton, or you're going to look at, I don't know, XYZ. Naturally, you have a propensity to notice the good look of something, good design of something. So the same thing with human being. You look at a horse, you say, oh, good looking. So what does that mean? That you're now a homosexual? Or a dog. What a cute dog. Oh, that wasn't so. I shouldn't have said that. No, I noticed the dog's good look. Yeah, you're supposed to. But when it comes to another man, oh, that's a homosexual feeling. No, it's not. You're supposed to notice and appreciate that's a good looking guy. So what? Noticing the good look of someone doesn't mean that you want to sleep with the guy. But because we live in an era that is so much talk about people's personal lifestyle and their sexual inclination, and they're making some kind of a fuss about this person is this gender, that person is that gender. So the whole thing has created a certain kind of a attention. Or if I pay attention, if I notice a good look of another guy, that could be classified as a homosexual reaction. No, fuck no. Leave it. It wasn't like that years ago, when there was no so much talk about irrelevant things to other people. Now, so many things are discussed in this world today that are irrelevant to most other people. But nevertheless, because they can make some money off of it, or the political candidates can get some vote out of it, or the products can be sold, these have created extraordinary discussions about people's lifestyle, which is a private matter, and it's for them and only them. But have commercialized it, and they've now turned it into groups and clubs and this and that and so forth, and all kinds of irregular things, rather than leaving it to be personal preference of people. It's up to them. We're all equal. Whether you're homosexual or heterosexual, whatever your gender is, we're all equal. We should benefit from the same protection of law and be able to accomplish what we are here to accomplish as a human being, and be a better role model for other people, and bring positivity and affect our environments positively and make the world a better place. All of us are in it together. But now trying to make one group a star or a celebrity because they're this gender, because they're that gender, these are extra attention to something that is just part of the nature. And no need to have propaganda for it, or some kind of a boost to it, or promote it of any kind. That's up to people's personal, preferences and lifestyles, and how they've been created in the womb of their mother. They're either born heterosexual, or born homosexual, born whatever gender they're born, man, woman, whatever gender they're born, that's what they are, and that's up to them. That's their personal lives. But when it has become so commercial and so talked about, then it becomes like as if it's supposed to be associating every natural abilities that we have to notice quality of things and good looks of things. It's supposed to mean something. It's got no meaning. but it's been talked about so much that it creates a meaning that is not meant there, it's not intended there. I noticed the guy's good. I remember when I was a kid, there was James Bond, um, Roger Moore. He's a good-looking man, and he has had nice hair. Oh, we were kids. We all wanted girls to like us, so we could see that girls like him in James Bond movies. So we wanted to imitate the way that we could also, attract girls. So we would comb our hair maybe like that, or we would appreciate his good looks because that good looks would get him more girls. So we would notice that good looks. There's no meaning to it. You're supposed to notice good looks about others. And that's how you maybe make changes in your own behavior or the way you talk with girls. You learn from these, I don't know, some of these influences that you can see how this James Bond is talking with girls or interacting with girls or how they dress up or how they look and so on. These are all things to be noticed. There's nothing wrong with that. But nowadays there's so much extraordinary connotations and meanings attached to all these natural attentions, that abilities that we have to notice, that it turns noticing a good look of a guy, oh, it's a homosexual tendency. I don't know. So rise above it. There you go. I think I answered that question. All right. And where were we? T, don't feel guilty. Eh, dream means nothing. There are other things that happens in the dream and you don't question it, that you killed someone or someone killed you, and you don't fuss with that. But when it comes to sexuality, it's, oh, it must mean something. No, it means nothing. Same as any other dream. Nonsense. Steven says, hello, Mehran. Hello, Steven. Stephen Mail 40, Los Angeles. Thank you for that. And Elizabeth says, did I make the right choice? Oh, where were you? Did I miss one of the questions? Aman says, do you used to listen to the Beatles in old time? Oh, yeah. Do you like the Beatles? Oh, of course. I grew up with Beatles. Paul, George, John. What was the other one? Paul, George, John. We had games, like board games, with the pawns. The players had the one had George's face, the other one had Paul McCartney's, the other one had John Lennon's, and there's another one. I don't know. I can't think of it. Chinmay says, 18 male India says, sir, I wish to bring a genuine concern to your notice. Okay. College life has gotten me busy, so I have switched back to casual gaming as a hobby or relief after a hard day's work. However, gaming in itself is very addictive. I'm very afraid of it turning into a habit, causing me to neglect my priorities. Besides, It's not a constructive as other hobbies like blogging or music. So where's the point? Where's the question, Chinmay? Yeah. So the gaming, you know that is going to be addictive, and it's so pleasant because it's pleasurable, and there's no chore. And also you want to complete the level and you want to be better at that. It's advancement in there also incorporated in the whole um, journey of this gaming thing, which is going to take priority to your studies, because the studies, you need to focus on them, learn them, figuring them out, and it needs patience. And when you have something right beside you, the game, that it takes, not much effort, and it's pleasurable, it's active, and keeps your mind totally occupied and fast moving. So that's a competition you've created for your ability to study. So naturally, just give yourself this schedule that I will play a game once a week. That's on the weekend when I have finished my projects, and no other time. Because otherwise, you come home and you will find reasons and excuses not to complete your homeworks or whatever project you have for school, because you believe that they're not that important and I can do them faster. I can do them all right. Or you do a shitty job just to get rid of them because you are excited to get to the gaming. That's what you like to do. You know? Simple. It's like you have a food that is put in front of you and you don't like that food. It's not as tasty, but you're supposed to finish that. But there's another food on the next, right beside you, next plate. It's the food that you really want. You enjoy eating it. So guess how much attention you're going to pay to this food that you don't like? Very little. You nibble from it and you say, oh, I'm done. And you start eating that one. Pretty much the same. So you got to have that discipline and create that discipline in you, that I will not play games until it's the end of the week and I'm done with the schooling, because I love it so much and I know it's going to interfere with something that is actually going to put food on table later on in my life. And the leisure game that I'm playing is not going to put the food on the table. It's going to distract me from my chances to finish my studies. So ration yourself and give yourself that kind of understanding, and then follow that. So Elizabeth says, thanks for the answer. I left my boyfriend because he was so fickle, easily persuaded by other people's words other than mine, and lowest hierarchy in his men friendships, if such a thing exists. And Elizabeth says, did I make the right choice? I keep doubting. No, if he wasn't treating you well and if you weren't thinking of him as someone who you can rely on, then might as well. What if he was a good father figure? You don't want a father figure, you want a boyfriend and a husband. First, if they can't meet that criteria, then, you're not marrying just that the person is a good father. It has to be a good husband, good boyfriend first, and then naturally, if he is, then he will be a good father too, because he cares. He cares about his woman, he cares about his family, he cares about being a good person. And these are important. Later on, when you guys have children, and you have with your husband have children, then you can decide if that person is actually a good father or not. But right now, focusing on who's a good father, that's not a criteria for you. You're trying to find a boyfriend or a husband. That's between you and him. Find out if you guys are, compatible or not. That's the first important thing. Then later on, if he's not a good father, then you guys help each other to become a good mother and good father. And then she says, ambitious woman and like intellectual conversations. but him and his friends were only into superficial things. You know, the bird with the same flock fly together. Yeah, I didn't want to get bad influences. Yeah, I understand. And what is your background, Elizabeth? You live in New York, I believe, you said. And what was your age? I don't know if I got that information or not. Yeah, 36, New York. Yeah. Well, yeah, you make your own decision based on what is good for you. And if he's not measuring up, then don't have time to waste. This isn't always good to keep your environment with positive people who you can learn from. Yeah, he was not bringing anything to the potential marriage table. Am I being too realistic here, Meran? No, you know what you want, and if the guy was not as serious as you are, at least in some tangents of life, then it wouldn't be a compatible and enjoyable and stimulating life, because mind is a mechanical system, and if life becomes mechanical and there's no mental stimulation, then the brain becomes dull, and also the relationship can become dull if there is no mental stimulation in it. It's all mechanical. Sex, 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 and go to parties, go here, and eventually there is no stimulation because it's all mechanical. So if that stimulation wasn't going to take roots, well, obviously it would have gone to disaster anyhow. So it looks like you did the right thing. Yeah, it looks like you did. Um, Steven says, at work today, just came to say hello. Oh, what happened? Did I miss it? At work today, just came to say hello. Want you to know I'm going to value myself. Oh, oh, I see. You say at work today. So you're at work right now. And you just came up here to say hello. All right, got it. I thought you were talking to her. Couldn't follow. Want you to know I'm going to value myself much more now, and will take all your advices. Well, it's about time. God damn it, Stephen. At work today, oh, reading that again. I think the biggest challenge for me is staying positive and to not get into negative thinking or self-doubt. That's what I really need to work on. Now, what you need to work on is that this girlfriend is not the end all be all. If she doesn't reciprocate, if she doesn't come along the same journey, if she doesn't pay as much attention as you like to pay attention to her, if she's not interested, that means naturally it's not going to be end of the world. It's just not going to work, and you shouldn't be interested in a girl who simply is not have the same level of interest or focus on the relationship as you want to have. And you should also recognize that you have too much interest on that. So she would maybe need to up the game a little bit, and you need to bring it down a little bit, more than a little bit, because you're fussing too much about it. Is she going to come out with me? Is she not going to come out with me? Should I ask her? She didn't say this. She did say. She didn't answer my text fast enough. She didn't initiate text. Who gives a shit? Live your life and be cordial, kind, and warm if she is up to it, if she approaches you, if she initiates something. You have initiated enough. But constantly hanging on, if she's going to text you, then the world is good. If she's not, the world is bad. You're just going to ruin your own life for nothing. She's another biological entity. She's not a cure to common cold. She's not a cure to hunger in the world. She's not going to be protecting the old and the elderly and the young and the sick or whatnot. She doesn't have anything special to offer the world the way you think she does. All she is what she is, and you got to look at her for what she is, not anything more. Don't give her the image that you give to this woman as, oh, what? It's your need that makes her so important. Value and importance of people or things are equal to your need and desire for them. And you got too much desire for them. Why? Because you have too much desire for pleasure. Too much desire for getting rid of your anxieties, and your anxieties are built on if I have this or not. You got to deal with your anxiety, not trying to bring something to shut down the anxiety. Don't respond to what anxiety wants you to do. Deal with anxiety itself and ignore the anxiety and do things that will bring the anxiety down, not to go after her so your anxiety comes down because she's complying. You can't make people do things so you don't have to handle your anxiety. You got to deal with the anxiety, meaning don't make such a big fuss out of her. She's no bigger than, no more important than you are. You're doing your job, she's doing your job. She's busy or not busy, well, wait until she's not and she feels like she has to approach you because you've done enough. Otherwise, we talked about it. You're going to ruin your own worth and value in her eyes because you're too available. All right, we don't want to turn it into this conversation. Go on and repeat everything I've said before, so you already know it. And Steve says, here's an example of some of my negative thoughts. There's a fear that I have that now I'm 40, I'm running out of time. What? What, you're Cinderella? You're running out of time. What? You're going to turn into pumpkin? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? So you're going to run out of time, so might as well take any shit that comes along, the first shit that comes along, because you're running out of time. Isn't that good reason? Right now, listen, you've got a girl that you like and she likes you, but you constantly tell her, I love you, I love you, I love you. She's going to puke finally. Why? Because most women or men don't have enough confidence in themselves. If you constantly show them how much you enjoy, you love them, you like them, they feel, well, maybe, listen, I don't think I'm that hot. So why is he thinks that I'm so hot? Maybe he's not much hot, so I don't want him. So simmer down on that. Understand what we've talked about. You're not running out of time. 40 is the best time of the man's life. That's when you've learned things, you have a career, you have experienced things, you've got much more wisdom, you've dealt with your anxiety, hopefully, and then you are kind of ready to take on bigger challenges, or at least be relaxed in the light of challenges. And it says, I don't believe it because I attract women much younger than me. It's a thought. What? There is a fear that I have that now I'm 40, I'm running out of time. I don't believe it because I attract. Oh, you don't believe you're running out of time because you're attracting much younger women. Okay, so that's good. And it's a thought that I need to dismiss. Yes, you don't need to dismiss. You just need to recognize what it is. And by recognizing the thought being intrusive and negative, you just stop paying attention to it. That's all. You don't have to dismiss it. Thoughts have the right to be there. Why? Because they're there. Thoughts can be there. It's okay. Allow thoughts to be there. But you have the choice of not paying attention to them. They can be there. You recognize them, but then pay attention to whatever else it is that you want to pay attention, not to the thought. That's all. And it says that I need to dismiss. It says, I love your laugh, Mehran. Always make me laugh. I'll make you laugh, but you keep talking like that. It's not going to be, I'm not going to be, yeah, I might be laughing when I'm just beat the crap out of you with this ugly stick. Or you won't be laughing. So you better change your tone about saying these things and behaving the way you do and be so anxious about this girl and all that, because you're going to lose her for no reason if you keep being anxious. So that would be your motivation. Stop being anxious. Just ignore it. Just play a role like you're in a Shakespeare theater. You're supposed to have the role of a person who's not anxious. Can you do that? You know, like when they bring the actor and say, okay, you act like you're really angry. You act like you're really anxious. You act like you're really hurt. Now, this time, we want to say, we brought an actor who's actually anxious by nature. We're going to say, your role is to act as if you're not anxious. That's your role. Can you play that? God damn it. Play that. Especially when you're in front of her or you're at your home thinking about her. Just go, I'm not anxious about her. You end up doing that probably. Elizabeth says, I'm 36 in New York, but due to pandemic, have not been meeting people. Yeah, who has? Some people are still online dating or meeting people, but I don't feel comfortable with that. Yeah, it's not really the best. But I'm so lonely. Yeah, I feel that. I understand that. Scared of future. Ah, come on now. You got to learn to love life and love the things that you do in life rather than having the love of your life to be a person, a human being. Because then you're going to go up and down like a yo-yo because it's really part of it is up to them and their changes in their life, their behavior, their moods, their preferences. Maybe they don't like you one day, they like you the other day. Maybe they want to change career, maybe they don't want to change career. Maybe you don't like them to change career. Maybe you do. So many other variables show up if you put all your eggs on if you put all your love on a human being. Put most of your love on what you can create, what you can accomplish, what your interest in this world, the things that you can bring about as part of your experience in this life. And one part of the love that you have for this life is, you know, your relationship. Not everything. So thinking that, oh, I'm running out of time. Time to do what? Time to be happy? Well, then look for happiness, not status. You know, happiness is not in status. Status doesn't necessarily bring happiness. Happiness is something that you create inwardly. So create that, and then when you're happy, then you'll not think things you're going, you know, you're getting out of time. And you will be patient enough to find something suitable. And if they're not suitable, you constantly kick them out. You know, who said you're supposed to be married by the age, I don't know, whatever. You're not stupid. If there was a qualified person around you, you would have given him a chance, like give you a chance to this one. But this one was not really meeting your criteria, so you let him go, and that's perfectly well. You're not supposed to settle when it comes to relationship. It's already hard enough when two people really hit it off and they still have challenges in a relationship and they end up separating, let alone if right at the beginning you see that this is not really working out. So Ash says your French words are music to my ears. Thank you, Brother Mehran. You are right. My mother's womb hosted Ash's dad's Got Talent. The sperm edition, and I won effortlessly. There you go. Take the negativity as fuel. I'll keep fighting this and try to see what opportunities this shit is throwing at me. There we go. Instead of viewing it as a life trying to tell me, to quit, I know this deep down, and I will attend the Mehran rally. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. By focusing on life and the things that you want to accomplish, by educating yourself, you learn things that you would have never had the chance to learn. Sometimes challenges in life brings about that beast mode in us to discover, research, and rise above that situation. And that would be the experience that would help us all throughout our life, that we would have never gotten to that point if we never had that particular challenge. Challenge us. So take that opportunity and rise above it, Ash, as we all have to, in different ways or similar. Indilugani says, Salam Mehran. Salam Indilugani. Hubi, that's a KH, means Hubi. Thank you. 23 May, London. 23 May, London 2. London 2, is there a London 1? So how do you get rid of my fear of dogs? Just buy a dog and raise the dog as a puppy, because the puppy dog is not going to hurt you, and you will learn that puppy is going to become love of your life. They look at you with their eyes, they can't say anything, but they're just waiting for you to communicate with them, to pat them, to love them, to feed them. They look up to you for everything that they are in that world, and they want to do everything they can for you. And you will learn their personality. And once you learn about them, you're not afraid of them anymore. You must have had some kind of experience or some kind of a connotation about dogs are vicious or this and that, maybe in a movie or something. But not all dogs are like that. Most dogs are very friendly, unless they've been trained by an asshole. And that is not, usual. Those animals, the only thing they have different from you is the fact that they can't speak or think the way you do. But they can love. They love to be loved. They need to eat. They need to be comfortable. They need to be protected. They have the same needs and desires as you do. But they give love unconditionally. And they count on you. And they love you without you asking them to, all the time. They're very innocent. So, change your understanding of them. You will start seeing them for who they are. It's much easier to live with animals than with people. Don't forget that. There are lots of people in this world, but lots of people with negative intentions and devious intentions, worse than the snakes. So you actually want to have a dog. It's not going to be easy. It's lots of work, but once they really, you get it into your system, it's your best friend forever. Wine Love says, thank you, Mehran. I want spaghetti now. Yeah, me too. I've got some in fridge, actually. I should warm it up before it goes bad. Yeah, there you go. You're the spaghetti. That's what you think of yourself. Good girl. Guys, remember that we have a site called Mind That Seeks Truth. And if you don't get the information or the long enough attention to your questions here, and you want to go deeper, you can always go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com. Click on Skype, talk to Mehran via Skype, make an appointment for 1 hour. If you make an appointment for 1 hour, I will throw in an hour on me, so we will have 2 hours to learn about what concerns you and explore it together one-on-one on Skype. And of course, don't forget about picking up the book, Me, My Psyche, and I. You can pick it up in print, which is expensive, but pick it up in ebook, which is 1/10 of the price. So the ebook print is like $80 US, and ebook in the form of, the book in the form of ebook is $8 something. So it's same book, same pages, 360 pages, and you will enjoy that book. So check out the site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and see what's there for you. And again, don't forget, I'm just one Skype call away if you need to talk to me. That's what I do all around the week with people who need it from all around the world. And JGP says, how do I deal with suicidal thoughts that keeps occurring every few months? I do not want to take medication. Well, listen, it depends on how much you love yourself and you want to see the journey. Look, every time we go to a movie, we want to sit there, even though the movie is really bad or shitty, but we want to see how it ends. What's the ending? How does it proceed? Where does it get? How does it, progresses? So we sit there to finish the movie. But now you're in the biggest movie of your life, living, and you have suicidal thoughts, like getting off the middle of the movie and leaving the theater. What the fuck for? What? Eventually the movie ends and we all get up and leave the theater. We eventually get old and we die. So what the fuck is so urgent that you want to kill yourself now? What's waiting for you on the other side? Do you have any idea what somebody is there? Like what? What's waiting for you? What do you think it is? Hawaii? They're waiting with lei for you? What? You're going to take all the chances and possibilities to change things that you do not like in this life. Instead of focusing on what you don't like, focus on how am I going to change it. And focus on all the other things that you do like. What this fucking business that I'm thinking about suicide? Why? Your parents spent so much time and love and effort and sacrifice to bring you to where you are. So much energy and investment has gone into you, and you want to fuck it up just because, I don't know, I don't feel good. Well, I'm saying be your own medicine. Love yourself. Love this opportunity that you have, as fucking hard it might be as it is for all of us at one time or another. Focus on the people that they've got bombs falling on their heads in the morning when they get up to have breakfast with their children. It can't be worse than that, and they want to live. Those people who every day have the threat of bomb falling on their heads, and they know that danger, frightened of it every day, they're being bullied by other countries or other forces, but they want to live. And you're telling me things are not right, or I have intrusive thoughts, or whatever it is, I have suicidal thoughts. Why? There could be some reasons that your doctor, psychologist, psychotherapist is going to help you with that. But you also look inwardly. Why should I have such thoughts, even if it shows up in my brain? Why would I even pay any attention to it? Because there's so much in this life that I want to change. And there's so much in this life that I actually could like. And I do like. Why don't I focus on the things that I love and like and live for that, and then live for changing the things that I don't like, and I give myself a purpose rather than thinking about what thought shows up. My brain is not my life. My brain doesn't have anything invested in this life. It's a fucking thought-making manufacturing plant. And it suggests suicide. What is it going to lose? Nothing. I am the one who's going to lose it, because I own this entity. I own this life. So it's risking for what belongs to me, the brain, the suggestions, the thoughts. I'm not supposed to listen to thoughts. I'm supposed to protect me, my values, what I want. I'm not going to listen to the fucking brain. It's got nothing to lose. I've got everything to lose. It's easy for it to talk about suicide. I am the one who's going to diss that thought, diss that suggestion. That's not good for me. That's how you should be thinking. Rise above it. Don't allow brain and its fucking bullshit dictate your life. Brain is not intelligence. Brain is not you. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're not thought. Thought is not you. So don't listen to the fucking bullshit. All right. And talk to your psychologist, psychiatrist, and make sure that you're taking care of this nonsense and understand that these are thoughts and you're not supposed to comply and allow them to become an action. Thoughts can come and go. What the fuck? I don't give a shit. But you're the one who allows or don't allow them to become reality or an actuality, because you don't fall for it. Thoughts are nonsense, bullshit. You're the one who takes all the risks. So make your decisions based on that. Stephen says there's actually one more thing. Oh, really? Let me get ready. Go ahead. says, that's been bothering me, and you will probably get out the ugly. See, I got it here. So with me chasing this girl, it made me look back at how my ex always chased me. She never gave me any space, and I felt smothered. I had my reasons for pushing her away also, but seeing how much she invested in me and how hurt she was really gets to me when I think about it. Yeah, okay. So don't do what she did, because the attention that she showed you and so much following that she did, but of course it was a different situation because she also had other things that, it wasn't suitable for you to be in a relationship with her. And you know that perfectly well. But with all that following and so on and so forth, was one of the many reasons that you actually lost interest, because you said, what the hell is going on? And this one who's not pursuing it, you are having gravitation towards. But you're going to have the same effect as the ex had on you. You're going to have this same effect on this girl because you're pursuing her more than you should. So learn from your own knowledge and first-hand experience, and don't allow it to turn that way. If you guys not going to be together, should be for real reasons, not because you're so over excited and overzealous and you constantly pursue her and too much attention. That shouldn't be the reason. So monitor that and get a hold of that and control that, and don't let it ruin something that could actually work. So stand your grounds. Yeah, Aman, but these girls can call you what they want to call you. You are the one who knows what you want to be, what you like, and you behave in the way that is comfortable for you. We don't over try it. Just, you have your own image, and you have the way that you feel comfortable. You don't have to be more masculine than somebody else is. Just be as masculine as is natural for you, and that's perfectly fine. And the girls that you talk to would be the kind of girl that would actually like your style of masculinity. Don't think just because there are different uh, kind of expression of masculinity with different people, that means the girls only like that kind that you're not. No, you're a balanced boy and you are not overdoing it, so you find a girl who appreciates that. That's all. Wine Love says, I agree with Elizabeth. I think I am just scared. I'm not going to meet someone better than this man who didn't appreciate spaghetti in this pandemic. In fact, my ex found new spaghetti already. That may not be spaghetti, it could be ravioli. Who knows? You're the spaghetti. I feel so behind me life and feel like my stupid ex won. Won what? Won ravioli, didn't have the spaghetti, so he lost. What are you talking about? See, you say that you're a spaghetti, but you don't think you're a spaghetti. I want you to think and know and act as a spaghetti, that you're the best. And whoever doesn't have you doesn't have the best. That's what you think. Not that, oh, what they have is the best, and because they don't have me, I'm not the best, because it is them that makes me to be the best or not best by their choices. That's bullshit. People take choices because of their level of understanding or expectations or standards. not based on your standards. You could be far higher standards, they can't see it, and they don't choose you, they choose something else. That means what? You're now lowering standards? What happened with the guy who buys a Ferrari and the other guy buys a Chevy? The guy who chose Chevy and didn't choose Ferrari, does that reduce the Ferrari? No, because he doesn't understand Ferrari, or doesn't have the money for Ferrari, or doesn't have that kind of interest in that engine. So his understanding of a good car is a Chevy. So he goes and buys that. But by him choosing Chevy, it doesn't diminish the Ferrari for what it is, as excellent, as superior car as it is. Yeah? That's my opinion. And people have different opinion. But their opinion for what it's to the level of their understanding, but their opinion based on their level of understanding does not mean whatever else that they don't understand or don't appreciate is going to lose its value because they didn't choose it. It just means they didn't choose it because they couldn't afford it, they couldn't understand, they couldn't appreciate it. Simple. Same thing. You think you're spaghetti, but because they didn't choose you, they chose, I don't know, some kind of a, a $2 noodle soup in hot water, then you think, oh, then that is the good meal. That's a spaghetti, not me. You diminish yourself based on people's selections rather than focus on the fact that the people who don't choose you, don't value you, don't understand you, they have lower ability to see quality. In other words, that's their problem, not your problem. Capiche? Wine love. I wish, okay, I feel behind my life. Next one, I wish he regrets. Don't give a shit. Let him actually enjoy the shit that he's having. Don't worry about it. You just continue taking care of yourself, and then when you select the right person, then you have everything you want. You want that relationship to be. Do men regret? Yeah, of course they do. I feel only revenge I can have is to meet someone better than him. You will, because this thing didn't work. So anybody else that you will be with would be better than him because it's working. So you don't have to try to find someone that is better than him. Anybody else that you go in a relationship with is going to be better than him because this one wasn't good enough to continue the relationship with. Simple as that. Ash says Ringo. Yeah, that's right. Ringo. Yeah, Ringo Starr. Yeah. Magaman. Yes. You keep focusing on the now, your efforts, your life, what you have to do, your plans, and focus on being busy with the things that you want to accomplish in this life. Magaman says, are you a psychology teacher or professor in that, or you just knowledgeable? Neither. I'm a 65-year-old man who has trained himself in university in arts of mind and body coordination, understanding the relationship between mind and the body and the energy of the universe and nature and our energy. And then I have researched for years on work of the masters of hundreds of years ago, a couple of 100 years or 100 years ago, on understanding the components and the fragments of the psyche. What is thoughts? What is thinking? How does thought come about? What is consciousness? How is consciousness made? What's the relationship between consciousness and thoughts? What is desire? What are the steps prerequisite for desire to be born? What about pleasure? What about ego? What about fear? Where did that come from? What is order? What is mechanical process? What is material process? What is the security, psychological security? These are the things that I've researched for years and pondered And you find my books on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. And I suggest you guys pick up Me, My Psyche, and I. Me, My Psyche, and I. And then you will get to know lots of things about yourself, including meditation, including the movement of mind. And then in the playlist that I have on this channel, Intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos, you will get to know a lot about the separation of the brain, thoughts, and you. And it's clear as a bell there. If you have any interest to learn that, and that would set you free from believing the nonsense that shows up in your head, and understanding that you're not the brain, brain is not you, you're not thoughts, and thoughts are not you. So I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychotherapist, and basically I have the research that I've done independently, and that is what I talk about. So if you have any serious, if you think you have any serious problems, you should be talking to your psychologists, psychotherapists. And on the description part of my videos and those playlists, you will find links that I have put in there from the scientists such as Dr. Schwartz and his presentations about You're Not the Brain, and the studies and experiments that Dr. Jan Grable and her MIT postgraduate student Carl Smith has done on the neuroscience of habits. And you will find other links of specialists and psychotherapists famous in the world, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Owens, and many others, that they talk about the whole science of OCD and HOCD and subsets of OCD and neuroscience of habits and all the other important information about your brain and so on. And you will enjoy them. So they're all, those resources are available for you to familiarize yourself with this whole topic, and that's what I'm trying to bring a little bit more knowledge through my videos in regards to the role of the brain, thought, consciousness, fear, ego, and desire in the post-breakup feelings and devastations that you have because of understanding how your brain is functioning, and also in the behavior and the dealing with OCD and HOCD and subsets of OCD that we have focused in the past many months so heavily to help people to understand, have more knowledge on that topic. Luna says, Salam, dear Mehran. Salam, Luna June. It says, this is a bonus. How come you're live tonight? Well, you know, it's Sunday and I didn't have much to do, and I felt like, why not? And that's basically my reasoning. And the only problem is that my tea is cold. It's warmish. And says, not that I'm complaining. Always a pleasure. How much have I missed? Well, you know, I don't know when you showed up here. We've been around for about 1 hour, 55 minutes. And so that's where we are. And Luna says, كيفك اليوم? Shukran tamam. And Luna says, female 36 UK, and thank you for that. Let's see what we have here. So give me 1 minute break, guys. I've been talking my head off just to check something here. All right. Magaman says, also in one video I saw you have a Vegeta or Goku figure in the background. It's right here. Still right there. Can't you see it? Let's see. It's right there. Come on, come on, come on. There's a 20-second delay. That's why I can't see that you can see it or not. I think you can see it right beside the... There it is. There it is. There it is. You can see it. That's Goku. Kakarat. And in the background, so you like anime. It says, I'm glad that I found your channel to be honest. Well, great. Don't forget, guys, I need your help to promote this channel. So share the videos you like on your social media and let this channel be reaching other people and help other people. Many people don't know about this channel, but we have content second to none. And I'm unanimous on that. So might as well, before we actually, wither and die, because in the sea of YouTube, I don't know, 30 million channels, we're not visible. But yet I believe, with the witnesses of all these other subscribers have told me, no channel has the contents that we do, and we actually have a pretty helpful contents in both relationships and breakups and the psyche and the matters of the psyche and OCD and HOCD and all that. So please help the channel to be known. Do something, whatever it is that you are talented in, help the channel to be known, and can get a lot more views and a lot more subscribers, so you can have economic support, and so we can then use that to enhance our services. And eventually, when time comes, we will have enough funds to travel and put workshops and help people in close proximity. And I can share a lot more than I can share just online. So see what you can do. And someone says, good night from Israel. Good night. But good night meaning hello, good evening, or you mean you're leaving? Either way, good of you to stop by. Patricia says hello. This is female 21, Uruguay. Oh my goodness, we're reaching new frontiers. Uruguay. We've never had anyone from Uruguay. Maybe we did. Did we? We don't know. Welcome, Patricia. Thank you for that. Obviously, you've been here before, or you've at least watched it because you have the protocol down path. Patricia says, how can I forgive someone who has hurt me and never apologized or ever acknowledged that they did? I feel so much anger. Well, why do you want a robber to come and confess that I'm sorry that I robbed your home? But if you could understand that was a bad thing to do, he would have never done it. You expect someone who's done something bad, which means he didn't know any better, to come and say, I'm sorry that I did something bad. If he knew it, he wouldn't do it. So you expect him or her or whatever it is, someone who has done bad to you, to come and apologize. Why would you care? What worth does it have? What would you care? The fact is, you found out that that person is not up to your standards, and why do you have to forgive him? Because what? You think something is watching you, some deity is watching you, and then to be a nice person and to be a good part of that, whatever it is that you believe, you have to forgive people for no good reason, just because so you would say, see, the watcher, whoever is watching me, the deity, I'm such a good person, I forgave him or her. You don't have to forgive anybody. This means nothing. They've already done what they've done. And the forgiveness is because you want to comply to a certain kind of a system, certain kind of a belief, certain kind of a club, certain kind of a religion, certain kind of a whatever. Just forget and go on. If they ever learn that they should come and apologize, okay, maybe you decide to say, okay, forgive them. But what does this forgiveness really means? What does it do? It just makes you feel at ease that I don't hate them anymore because they gave me something for what I give them. They said, I'm sorry, so now they apologize, so I don't have to hate them anymore. But the hate is, you hate them, that's all right. But I shouldn't hate because as long as I hate, I'm not a good person. That's where you're getting at. I want them to apologize so I can continue being a good person by not hating them, because hating them is being a bad person. That's what you've been conditioned to think. That's why you want them to apologize. Don't give a shit. Just understand, okay, I don't give a shit. They're idiots. Why should I hate them? I don't care. If I hate them, I hate them. If I don't hate them, I don't hate them. But it doesn't make any difference to me as a good or bad person, because I'm not acting on my hate. I'm not going to go beat them up or do something to them. I don't like them. Okay. You're entitled not to like someone. But hating them, it makes you feel angry all the time. So you say, listen, I'm not going to give them that satisfaction. They did something stupid, some wrong to me, that they're stupid and dumb, low class, unfair, imbalanced. So for that reason, I recognize that. But I don't hate an idiot. You know, it was a bad, you recognize it was a bad behavior. It's like some animal attacks you. I hate that animal. What does that do? You hate that animal. So what does it do? You recognize that animal is vicious and is stupid and is not tame, and you don't want to have anything to do with him. That's that behavior left you to know, the knowledge. But now, I hate that animal. Why don't you hate the animal? Because the animal doesn't think, it doesn't have an image of you. You want this person who can think a certain way about you not to think that you were a pushover, not to think that you didn't understand they did something wrong. So you want them to come and apologize, so in their mind you will have a different image. But the animal doesn't have that capability, so you don't care if you hate the animal or not. But because this person hasn't come and apologized to change the image that he has in his head about you, and the image that you have about yourself in your head, by him apologizing, for that reason you hate him. But knowing the animal is not capable of that, having an image of you in his mind, or you have changing your image of yourself in your mind because it's an animal, you don't care about hating the animal. So you really are trading your hate, which is up to you and you're in control of it. You can just not hate. You don't need the guy to come and apologize for you not to hate. You can just say, I don't hate. Fuck it. I don't hate. Because I don't want to. Why? Because I think the person is less than an animal, doesn't have brain, good enough brain. I don't care what image he has of me in his mind. And this will not change the image I have of myself in my own mind. So it is not dependent on what this guy comes and apologizes or not. It's the fact that the guy did what they did. He's an asshole. So I consider that person an asshole. I don't have to hate. Because the hate, it draws in a certain energy that you constantly want to do something with, and you haven't, you're not satisfied. So you create that mood in you. It just affects you. For that reason, you don't want to hate that person. Because the energy is cooped up and it's not flowing that it should flow with the energy of the nature, so you can feel good about yourself. The hate kind of stumbles the flow of the energy. That's why you don't want to hate the person. You can dislike them. You don't need to hate them. It's just like an idiot animal attacked you. You dislike them, you stay away from them, and you know what they are, but you don't care to hate them. Because if you don't have much value for that person, then there's no reason to hate them, really, pretty much. You hate what they've done to you, okay. But you can't hate the person, because the person is what? What's that hate going to do to them? Nothing. So you're wasting your own energy, turning it against yourself. All right. I hope that makes sense. Luna says, which reminds me to ask after how Mama and Mama-san, Japanese are you? Mama-san and Rain are doing. Thank you very much. I saw Rain yesterday, actually. I just momentarily went and I wanted to pick up something from my son's place. And Rain came out the door, and she was going nuts, and it was so lovely to see her. And I, before that, early on, I was visiting my mom and my brother. So, and she's good, but she forgets things, and we had lots of laughs and we discussed, and so Yeah. Thank you for asking. Thank you very much for asking, Luna. Well and safe, inshallah. Inshallah. Thank you very much, Luna Jan. And Ash says Mehran 2024. Yeah. Ash says, I do actually have another question. All right. Ash says, how would you go about getting your sense of humor back after depression? It's something that you redevelop into it. The more you take care of the depression, the more sense of humor comes back. Because you don't feel like, oh, I have to feel this way because something is wrong. It's like saying, how can I get the flow of water back after the blockage? All you have to do, take the blockage away, the water flow will automatically start. So you don't worry about how do I promote the water flow after the blockage of that, I don't know, little river or whatnot. Just take the blockage away, the water will flow. Change your mood, take care of that depression thing, the sense of humor will come back automatic because it's there. It didn't go anywhere. It's just been blocked, that's all. So I've been depressed before and it came back naturally and even improved. I've always been able to make people laugh. Yeah, that's that it will too. It says I feel humor is a gift to help us cope with life and look at the absurdities, but I can't seem to do that now. Well, it's like saying I'm constipated and I can't shit. Well, you're constipated, that's why you can't shit. So, 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 so right now, so right now, I can't seem to do that right now because right now you're depressed. So naturally, it's a blockage. So get rid of the depression and deal with that. The rest of it will automatically show up because it's in you. It hasn't gone anywhere. It says I'm like a fucking robot. My voice is monotonous and or moody. That's my two current gears. Yeah. Well, oh, mine doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But you know, you're a human being, so stop expecting perfection. We can all go through some shit some once in a while. It says I could have a woman cackling and ready to marry me and have my depressed HOCD children within 5 minutes of meeting her. Now I have a woman looking at me, wondering how Rasputin resurrected. That's all right. See, you still got it. Your humor is still there. It doesn't go anywhere. Just gotta unleash it. You just unplugged it for a second and it just came out gushing out. So don't worry about that. Just don't lose hope. You are the master. You are something being done to it, which is the mood and the HOCD and all that. HOCD and the mood are not you. You are you, and these are attacking you. So you stay calm and stay on course, and they will eventually dissipate because they don't have real existence. They're thoughts, they're ideas, and all thoughts are fear, and all fears are thoughts. Understand that, and you'll be fine. Wolfbeat says, what is your opinion about Sadhguru? He has very interesting parallelism with your way of understanding mine. Yeah, Sadhguru is a very wise man, no doubt. Why do people argue sexuality? What? Yeah, well, people can argue what they want. Chester says, male 27 Hawaii. Aloha, Chester. Mahalo. Mahalo. I almost said malaho. It's a new Hawaiian word. Chester. Malaho. I don't know what that means. Oh, it doesn't have any bad meaning. But, so aloha and actually maloha is aloha and mahalo put together is maloha. But malaho, it's a new one. I just came up with, I guess. What do you think, Chester? Says, I just got a notification that you're doing a live stream. Glad you are doing a live stream again. Glad I don't have to wait for next week, Saturday. Well, where are you? Where have you been? Have you been here? There's so many people here. There's only 16 people here, but it looks like there's 100,000 people here because there's so many questions. I guess these questions are just coming into pieces by the same people. And T says, why does HOCD anxiety gets confused for attraction? Well, you don't need to ask why. The fact that you know it is good. That you're not getting fooled by it. That this is anxiety, not an attraction. And that's fine. You know? Because you see every other male as an enemy, as a competitor. So it's like when you see something that is going to have a chance to take away what you're entitled, which is all other women. Everybody, every man thinks that all women belong to him. So when you see another male that supposedly have possibility of reducing your chances to get the girls, you find them as enemy. You find them as threatening. So that's the anxiety, that they are more manly than I am, maybe, or they could have more chance than I have with the girls. So they hinder my chances to get what it is that ultimately I'm after, women. So you find them as anxiety source, because you feel fight and flight comes on, because you find them as danger, you find them as enemy, you find them as competitor, you find them as something you got to get rid of. So that's basically what it is. And if they are good looking or they have muscles, you think, oh, yeah, I'm anxious because they have better chance, and that means I'm inferior towards them, and that inferiority means, oh, then maybe that's a homosexual. All that shit that the brain comes. Just ignore. You feel something, you feel anxious, you feel somebody is good looking. Okay, that's a feeling. That's my capability to be able to see. Just like I can see a good looking bike, good looking car, good looking dog, good looking horse, I can see good looking human being, good looking man. But then the brain associates all that shit with all kinds of other things because it's so capable of associating that with sex and everything else. You see something shiny in the street, you associate with sex. You didn't want to do it, but the brain does that because its association power and speed is so tremendous that suddenly you get lost in all these associations, and then you interpret them, and then it end up being, oh, that was a homosexual reaction. It wasn't. It's just bullshit. Don't pay attention to any thought that shows up, any conclusions, or any justification of whatever. Just don't interpret. Any interpretation, not justification. Any interpretation. Don't think about any interpretation of any of these thoughts showing up. Then you'll be fine. Otherwise, you'll be hunting around. What does this mean? What does that mean? What is the association with that? And then that means homosexuality. That means this. Oh, damn it. Nonsense. Just focus on your life. And don't interpret anything, and don't pay attention to the meaning of anything that shows up in your head. Just say, oh, it showed up, okay, fine, garbage. Move on. That's it. That's how you do it. Just allow thoughts to be there. It's okay. Thoughts can come. Okay, whatever. But it doesn't mean anything. It's irrelevant to me, and I don't give a shit. That's how you think about it. So, don't try to find meaning in anything, any of these thoughts. There's no meaning. It's thoughts. A thought manufacturing plant makes thoughts. Okay, so fine. Make thought. Okay, I don't care. I'm not going to pay attention to thoughts. I'm going to pay attention to what I am, what I want to be, what I like to be, what I enjoy, and what makes sense to me and it's relevant to me. That's all. The rest of it, they can be there, but I don't give a shit about it. It's not my interest. That's it. That's your choice. You make that choice. All right. Nick says, what is your advice on ruminating? Don't. I had a panic attack and latched onto an embarrassing moment which I couldn't leave alone. Yeah, why? Because you go into the brain and you want to fix something that you didn't handle well at the time that you had the opportunity to handle. And because the brain doesn't understand there's any difference between memory and actuality, it keeps going to the memory thinking that that's where the actuality is. I can change it and change the outcome of it too. So it goes in the memory, constantly ruminates. I would have done this. I would have said that, but he said that, or she said that. I said this. I could have said this, but this is what I'm saying now. And all that nonsense for something that doesn't even exist. The memory itself that you're in there trying to fix something is dead, doesn't exist. So you're trying to fix something that no longer exists. And if no longer exists, then it's never going to be a threat, and there's no need to fix anything in there. So what's the use for rumination? Ruminating on what? On something that doesn't exist? It's like, God forbid, someone's family member dies, and you keep going to the cemetery and trying to what? Think about them, how they were. You think they're going to be resurrected and become alive. No matter what you think, it won't happen, right? Same thing with the memory. Things are dead in the memory. So why are you going in there ruminating to do what? What changes are you going to make by ruminating? You go stand on the cemetery, on the grave of someone that you knew. You keep talking and you keep crying. And what's going to happen? Ruminating of all the memory. What's going to happen? Nothing. So same thing with the memory of the events that have passed. So if you understand rumination, it's just is your motivation to want to end something and change the ending and the outcome of that thing when you had the chance to deal with it in a certain way. If it's not going to make any changes to that, then you understand that ruminating has got no use. It's just going to kind of momentarily make you feel good because the brain doesn't understand any difference between actuality and virtuality. And in the virtuality of the memory, you're changing things and you believe that you've changed it. So you think that now I feel better because that's how I would have liked to do it. And then now I change it. So that's how I did it in actuality. Well, bullshit. Just face the fact that it's dead, whatever it is no longer a trouble and gone. Okay, I didn't handle it well. Next time I'll handle better if such thing happens. That's it. You don't have to ruminate the damn thing. Because every time you ruminate it, then come back to it later because you realize, oh, that was memory. I should redo it again because the effect of it is gone. Because in actuality, it's still the same. So I got to go into the memory and try another time. So I'll be okay for another hour thinking that that virtuality was the actuality, that I just changed the actuality. But you didn't. So stop doing all that. Understand that rumination is nothing. You just learn from the mistakes that you made. If you didn't handle something well enough, then you will do it. You will use that knowledge next time. No need to ruminate. Capiche? God, so much talk. All right. Lareb Khan says, male India 22. Hello, Lareb. Megaman says, okay, talking to somebody else. Chester says, Meran, I have a quick question. Does the repetition of calling out our intrusive thoughts, Jeffrey Schwartz, a 4-step, can strengthen our damaged caudate nucleus so we won't get frequent thoughts? Does the repetition of calling out our intrusive thoughts can strengthen our damaged caudate nucleus? See, caudate nucleus is not damaged, it's just malfunctioning. And by rewiring yourself through neuroplasticity, by your behavior toward an intrusive thoughts, which we've discussed how to behave toward an intrusive thoughts, just ignore it, you are giving notions and signals that this is not going to be accepted here. It's like this: if somebody says, hey, jackass, and you used to say, hey, fuck off, fuckface. That was one way of making that person understand that this is not welcomed here, that kind of a calling you that way. That's when caudate nucleus works out and shuts down automatically because it responds to it. Now, the other way is that somebody says, hey, jackass. And you don't answer, you just do this. And you go about your business. Your behavior, your bodily reaction, your behavior, your lack of attention or response to that, it also makes that person see a signal. Now, it may not be as effective as when you said, get lost, fuckface, but it will get the idea that it was not paid any attention. There was no response coming. So next time he says, hey, jackass, again, you look and you move on. 3 or 4 times he says, and you don't even look anymore, you just move on. Eventually the guy says, okay, he didn't swear at me, he didn't fight me, he didn't beat the crap out of me, but he just doesn't pay attention. So he sees that his calling you jackass is not paying off, is not creating any rise in you, it's not creating any emotion, it's not creating any response from you. So it, from your behavior, gets the signal that that is not acceptable here. That is not welcomed or responded to here. The same thing, when intrusive thought shows up, caudate nucleus working out, shuts it down. When it's malfunction and not shutting down, your behavior, lack of attention to the intrusive thoughts and calling and recognizing the intrusive thoughts for what it is, but not in getting engaged in it, in data hunting and debating and conversation with it, just recognizing for what it is and then moving on with what it is that you want to do. That behavior is like looking at the guy and not paying attention. Eventually, it gets the idea that these sort of intrusive thoughts is not going to get any action here. So the brain learns through behavior, reconditions itself, rewires itself that these signals, these behavior will not have any signal favorable to what I want, which is occupation, to create a conversation, to create activity, and through that occupation, getting the brain busy and the brain finds security. When it says it doesn't bring that, then it stops it. It's going to try something else. So that's, in a way, then you're actually manually doing the job of the caudate nucleus that used to do it automatically. That's the idea. Yeah, you see, Chester, caudate nucleus is not a muscle to need to be go to gym weight training to be strong. It's just the creation of that behavior creates the neurons to create, to be conditioned for that behavior to become automatic. So then again, it's like caudate nucleus is doing its job, and eventually it starts functioning. Your behavior takes over and does the job of the caudate nucleus, and then eventually these things, even sometimes when you don't do anything, caudate nucleus clicks back into work. The momentary lapse, it's like somebody gets drunk and says, if I don't drink, would that come back to all my senses work properly? Most probably. And so, and it happens. Same thing, either through neuroplasticity of the way you behave, that you do the job of the caudate nucleus manually, or after a while, it just simply, things settle down and it just clicks back on. Just like the short fuse is switched on again. Magaman says, where can I get your book, Mehran? I'm trying to get it so I can learn more. If you go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com, you can see it's there when you click on books. And you have a chance to look at table of contents of each book. There's a button you push. it shows it to you, and you have a chance to read a sample chapter of each book. And then you decide if it's going to be the printed version or it's going to be the ebook version. Ebook version is much easier. And if you guys order the book and you get the link and the link is broken, you don't get the download, don't panic. Just send me an email, because we have a little glitch sometimes depending on what system you use, and my kind programmer eventually will get to it. For the next few months, we wouldn't have anything change in the site, because he's very busy with his work. He's also from UK, by the way. He's a very nice and intelligent and capable young man. But until he, gets done with his projects, we won't have much changes in but there are going to be big changes made to the site. In the meantime, if in case you got the ebook, any of the ebooks, and the link doesn't work, just send me an email and I'll send you the ebooks via email right away, as soon as I see your email, of course. Lavkesh Kumar says, just came here to thank you. You helped me a lot in 2017. My pleasure. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being here. Ash says, so what you're saying in terms of depression hindering my humor is that right now I'm living through the blockages. Well, you're just simply dealing with something, and that's going to affect your other capabilities and characteristics naturally. Even if you get a cold, you don't feel like doing the things that you used to do naturally. You don't have the mood, or you don't have the physical interest or energy. And it's the same as anything else. In HOCD, some people say, "Oh, why I don't get arousal that I used to get?" Well, it's again, as I mentioned, a example that somebody else in his own channel chose, and I accidentally watched it, and it was interesting. And he said it's like the example was very clear. It's like you're swimming in a pond, and there's an alligator with open mouth is about to bite your ass off. And you say, oh, why don't I get erection right now? Well, you're running away from an alligator. You don't have time to get erection. So when you have these thoughts in your head, it's like something attacking you. You're busy with the anxiety of defending yourself. You're not going to be having that relaxation and the whole mode and mood of getting so, excited about, your, girlfriend and sex with her. So that's natural. Just be patient and focus on your life, and that automatically dissipates, and you go back onto, I'm focused on what I want to do, not focus on what the garbage is attacking me. And then things change. So that is probably where you are right now. You just don't feel like being funny because you've taken this as if it's a conclusion. And because of that conclusion, that or you've summed up some kind of a meaning to all these things, and then you're stuck on that because your knowledge is limited, and you think what it is, that's going to be forever, while your witness to everything in life has changed, and suddenly this thing you say, oh, that attack is never going to change. Well, everything else did. So, and Ash says, Mehran, thank you, brother. I'm not going anywhere yet, but just want to wish you and your family a long and healthy life. Thank you very much, Ash. I appreciate it. And Walt says, hello, love from Ireland. Oh, Ireland, one of the places I always wanted to see. Wolfbeat is here. And Unstoppable Force says, Mail London 24 says, I'm taking a break from social media for my mental health and do also get over a past relationship. Do you feel that is beneficial? Yeah, sure, why not? But social media, you don't have to be active on it, but if you want to spend some time, just enjoy other things that are in those things, like, I don't know, there's little clips of interest and posts here and there. It's entertainment, And there's not much entertainment these days because of this pandemic. And so, yeah, if your social media is not focused on your ex, then it's okay. But if you constantly going to be seeing her pictures and this and that so forth, well then I wouldn't recommend it. Just block her and get over with your life. Or if you think there's so many connotations and connections there, yeah, sure, okay, you can stay away from your you know social media for a while. Yaman Said says, how to plan for Yemen. Where is your protocol? Did you give me the protocol? Age, gender, where are you tuning in from? I don't see it here. So let's have that. How to plan for a relationship without being afraid from breakup, especially if you're gonna attach to that person so much. Well, so you can't have a guarantee that there's no breakup. The human being has a dynamic consciousness, and this consciousness is changing according to the experiences and the challenges that you get in life. So that persona will be changing according to that consciousness. So you can't have a guarantee that there's not going to be a breakup. So if there is, so what? What's so permanent in this life that you think, oh, this relationship must be guaranteed, otherwise I don't want it? Well, nothing is guaranteed. So take what while it's working, and then when it's not, then it's not. So go for it. And Wolfbeat says, Mayran, try to stream on Twitch. I think you will get many followers. What's the difference? I mean, if they can't find me on YouTube, why would they find me on Twitch? And the Twitch, and I got to upload all these things again. I've got 2,000 videos. There is a Canadian company that actually approached me a while ago. It was like a month ago, and they said, we will switch all your videos to the new, to this platform. And I said, okay. So I'll have this and that. But I haven't heard back from them after initial 1,200 of them that they moved in there. Maybe I will. I don't know. But Twitch, I gotta upload all these over there. And so they have special category for Q&A. Hope you will have luck. Oh, thank you very much for the suggestion, though. I appreciate that. Chester says, on things and questioning things, intrusive thoughts. Oh, did I miss something, Chester? Oh, says, does neuroplasticity go along with strengthening our damaged cardiac nucleus? No, it's not damage, it's just malfunction. On things and questioning these intrusive thoughts. Yeah, you won't question it. You will just train yourself not to question it. Like every time such a question comes up, let's say you walk by a place, you go into your work or something, and somebody says, hey man, can I talk to you for a second? You say, yeah, sure. Say, hey, look, I had this bad luck, this and that so far. Can I have $50? And you say, oh, sorry, man, I don't have enough. And I need to pay my own bill. So you just go. And if that person, every day you pass by, wants to talk to you and say the same thing, after a while, what do? You just don't pay attention to, you just pass by. The first couple times says, oh, yeah, sure, oh, no, sorry, man, I don't have, oh, I can't do it either, man. Things are not good for me either. You explain, but after a while, you say, what the fuck? You just simply don't pay attention. Says, hey, man, can I talk to you? He says, no, I don't have time. That's it. The next time he says, hey, man, can I talk to you? So, have a nice day. You go. Next time he says, hey, man, can I talk to you? Just say, and you go. You reduce the interaction as much as possible, further and further. And then after a while, you don't even hear it. You pass by, he says, hey, man, you just go. Very good. You recognize that sound comes from that person that you have no interest in talking with, and you go on. That's going to be ending up the way you would deal with the intrusive thoughts. You recognize what they are, but that's not interesting to you, and it's irrelevant to you. You have no interest in it. and you go on. Recognize, intrusive, go. Recognize, intrusive, go. That's it. Then it's automatically. As they come, you go. It's like perfect dribbling instinct. When you're playing soccer at the beginning, you gotta try, oh, I'm gonna go this way. Now I gotta hit it on this part of the wall to go that way. But after a while, playing thousands of times, you just go true, automatically without thinking, instinctively. That's how it's gonna be, and then automatic system gets back to functioning again. Ash says, Maren, you often use your alligator analogy when when, when talking about OCD intrusive thoughts. But what if there is someone out there who suffers from alligator sexual OCD? Well, then God help him. He's going to be running away with an erection, I guess, from the alligator. So, Magama says, I have OCD and ADHD and I'm 24. Do you think intrusive thoughts only happen to people like me, or it happens to... Oh, are you kidding me? Intrusive thought is the hallmark of every human being ever existed and is existing and will be existing on this earth. We all have intrusive thoughts. Everybody, every single person on earth has intrusive thoughts. The difference is that the people who are not in the glitch of OCD and their cardiac nucleus functions properly, they recognize the intrusive thoughts and they say, "Ooh, what's that?" And then quickly it shuts down, and a couple of seconds later they're on their way to whatever it was they're doing. Some other people, when they have this glitch of OCD in there, that lingers. So it's not like other people don't have intrusive thoughts. They all have it. It's part of the brain. That's what it does to everybody. Every brain does that. So if you understand that, then you understand that intrusive thoughts is part of the function of our brain in every human being. It's not limited or special to you. But learning how to deal with it is that what's happening automatically when we don't have the glitch of a malfunction of signaling system. But when we do, then we got to help it out so it will just get out of that glitch and it starts doing and being dealt with the way it should be dealt with. Tuning from Florida. Oh, Mega Man is tuning from Florida. Okay, thank you for that. Atif says, hello, Mehran, 38, male, New York City. I would like to stop watching porn for many reasons, but still have a lot of difficulty with this. Well, if you don't watch it for a while and know why you're not watching it, not that, oh, I'm going to deny myself from a pleasure of watching porn, but you remind yourself that I'm actually not watching porn because of the problems that it's causing me or the effects of it that is not positive to me. That's why I'm not watching. I understand it's pleasurable at some point, but I'm not watching it because it has other effects on me and I don't want those. So I have a reason for not watching it. When you give yourself that reason, then you will easily be able not to, because then you're focusing on the health effects of it on you. Yeah? The effects of it being positive or negative on you. You're focusing on the effects of it on your well-being. So when you focus on getting rid of something or handling something while you focus on the effect of it on your well-being, that becomes meaningful to you, because your well-being, your health is very important to you, is meaningful to you. And when it affects something meaningful to you, you will be more adamant, you will be more direct and more forceful and powerful in taking care of it, because it's now affecting something that's very valuable to you, your health, your well-being, your mental well-being, your whatever it is that you call well-being. And then you will have more power to deal with it, an easier time to deal with it, because you have a reason, good reason for it. Ash says, Mega Man, yeah, okay. So you're talking to, okay. And Slobodan, gee, as soon as I get to the end of it, there's more questions. You guys leave me alone. I want to have new tea. And Slobodan says, male 21, Belgrade. Every time when I masturbating, my brain forcing me to have sexual fantasies while I'm trying to do it with female. That's all right. You just focus on what it is that you can do as much as you can. Focus on the female, and you enjoy what it is that you start, what you do, which is for a girlfriend, for a woman that you like, and you stay on course and try it, and uh, that'll be fine. Right. Good for you, Ash. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't worry. It's the brain's power for association, and attacks you to opposite of what you're interested in. That's what intrusive thoughts are. So don't worry about it. That's what the brain does. You just focus on what it is that you want to do, and ignore what the brain is trying to suggest. Just stay on course. Yeah, it could be annoying, yeah, but you just keep staying on course. Don't worry about it. Aman says, what to do if mind dissolved in illusion that it pushes reality and try to make believe reality as fake? Well, listen, brain is not you. You are you. So you have control of saying, I don't pay attention to this garbage that is showing up. Wants to dissolve reality into illusion. I'm not going to allow it because I am going to come in the moment. Every time that you focus on the moment that's in front of you, what you're doing, like I'm talking right now, if you focus on the words that are coming out of my mouth, you will not go anywhere that is illusion, because this is the only reality. You're engaged in an effort. Being engaged in an effort and focusing on the effort that you're making at the moment, that's the actual, that's a way for you to grab you away from the illusion that the brain is trying to dissolve you in and bring you to the actuality, which is life, where life is happening. And in that way, you show the brain that you're the boss. The brain is not you. You are you. Therefore, brain cannot suggest to you that let's be in this illusion. This illusion is actually actuality. So fuck you. I'm not stupid. Be forceful on that. All right. Bellamy Blah says, I have agoraphobia, especially when I am walking alone. Give me a moment, guys. I've been talking a lot. All right. Where was I? I have agoraphobia, especially when I'm walking alone. I don't know what to think about, and all time I'm anxious about what others are thinking about me. and it's out of my control. But you know, when you think what others are thinking about you, actually it's your own thought that is thinking about what you're thinking. Your own thought is creating a thought in your mind that other people might be thinking about you, but they're not. They're doing their own thing. But this is a natural thing that every one of us since childhood had. What other people are thinking about, what image they have of me. I'm doing this, they're seeing me doing this, so I gotta be doing it in such a way that if somebody's looking, like, you always think somebody's looking at you, you know? Because you created that watcher. You think there is something watching what you're doing. And that something that is watching what you're doing is actually you and the thought you created to watch over what it is that you're doing. You're becoming aware of what is happening. And then who's watching that thought that is watching what you're doing? These are all thoughts that you create. If you be aware of this mechanism, that behavior, then you wouldn't worry about that. The thought that comes to your mind, what other people are thinking about me, is actually you thinking about a thought that is suggesting that what other people are thinking about you. There's no other people thinking about you. They're actually focused on what other people thinking about them. The similar kind of thoughts that is going through your mind is going through their mind. But you are thinking that you're the one that is only the fish that is in the bowl and everybody's looking at it. No, they're also thinking about everybody's looking at them, because everybody is the most important person in their own life, and they consider the world in relation to themselves. So you think somebody is watching you, somebody's watching your behavior, somebody watching you what you're thinking, and you think that is outside of you, is some deity, some god, or some watcher, some power. But it's actually your own thought, thinking about what you are doing, what you're thinking, watching your thinking. And in that same way, you're thinking what other people are thinking about you. But no other people are thinking about you really necessarily, unless you guys are in love and they're thinking about each other, and not all the time, sometimes. So you can, and you have to understand this. It's basically a thought watching thoughts. It's not actually somebody's watching you. You think somebody's watching because nobody likes to feel alone. We all want to feel that there is something protecting us, and that's something which we don't know what it is, where it is, what it is. We create some kind of an entity, existence for it, and that's really through our own thoughts. So it is ourselves watching ourselves. Okay. So if you guys want to watch a few of my videos that I have put up, that it explains a bit of these things for you, which is going to be actually quite clear, making it very clear for you. Let me see if I can find that bunch. All right, I think that's where it is. Let's see if I'm right. No, I'm not right. All right, I'm wrong on that. I'm gonna find something for you guys that I think it's interesting. Where the heck is it? Well, if you go to my playlist, it would be easier for you to find it. Yeah, I can't find it here. There, just go on my playlist, Intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos, and watch those videos that I have put in there for you, and you will have plenty of explanation on that topic. Yeah, Aman, you are taking suggestions very easily. So you need to meditate, make your mind strong, and focus on your life rather than constantly believing the garbage that other people suggest or your own brain suggests. That's one of the problems that you need to handle. That you're weak-minded and you are not supposed to be entertaining whatever pops up to your head. Understand that they have no legitimacy and they have no credibility, and don't treat thoughts as facts. They are just nonsense. And if you get that through your head by watching the videos that I have on intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos, you will be a little bit more familiar with how you should look at the function of the brain. Luna says, I'm off to hit the hay. Hope to catch you during future bonus lives. Keep well and safe. Till next time. Good night, dear. My good night, dear Luna. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. And sleep well. And no, Nick, I've never heard that. Because thinking and concentrating on memories about someone who's not in contact from a while give them mental signal to have thought of us or their message after our remembrance is just coincidence. Yeah, most time it's coincidence, but sometimes also there are connections that can happen that way. Yeah, yeah. That's a common intrusive thoughts Chester. There's so many intrusive thoughts based on OCD and all that. David says, "Hola, Mehran. Hola, David. Male 25, Albuquerque." Yeah, yeah. Ash. Yeah, that's okay. Don't give a shit. It happens. That's part of that HOCD, and again, like anything else about HOCD, meaningless, irrelevant. Just focus on you know focus on what it is you're there to do. And all kind of thoughts can show up at the wrong times. Why? Because you simply can. The brain can make thoughts, and when it starts, you want to say, "Oh, I can make that thought. I'm not afraid of it." So you allow it to happen. Uh, just okay, big deal. So what? The actuality of things are different than the suggestion of the brain. So means nothing. It's annoying, but okay. It's part of the malfunction that happens, and the ability of the brain to create things, and you constantly want to see what happens if I do allow it to that kind of a thought to appear. Well, so what? Nothing happens to you. It's OCD. You want to check yourself to see how manly you are. How is it going to affect you? Is it going to do something? So you allow all these thoughts to happen, which is fine. Let it happen. It's actually a very healthy way. Let it happen until it depletes itself because it sees that there's no reaction from you. But don't get discouraged or frightened or bamboozled. Oh, what does that mean? Nothing. It just means that you just passed by, there were lots of shit on the ground. It doesn't mean that you're becoming shit. It's just that it came to your field of vision. That's all. It's there. It's in existence. You can see them. You pass by. Well, you have nothing to do with them. Thoughts the same. It can make thoughts, all kind of thoughts. It's possible to make thoughts. So it makes thoughts because that's what the brain does. But just because it makes thoughts, that doesn't mean it has anything to do with you. It makes thoughts and you can notice them. That's it. That's the end of it. No meaning to it. That's how you think about it. And you move on. No meaning, no relevance. That's all. It's a thought. It makes thoughts. Billions of thoughts. Okay. And Padmantan says, male 50, good morning, Mehran. It's 7:45 a.m. in Malaysia. Hello, Padmantan. How are you? And thank you for showing up. We're almost there. Almost trying to finish it. It's been a long time now. Hieroglyph says, age 34, female, married for 7 years, divorced, very prudish, religious upbringing. Nowadays, just noticed, can't bear the word committed relationship because I can't breathe. Could it be PTSD? What do you mean you can't breathe? So, where was I? So it says, divorced, very prudish, religious upbringing. Nowadays, just noticed, can't heard the word committed relationship because I can't breathe. Could it be PTSD? Well, first of all, I gotta know a lot more than you're giving me here. If you care, if you like, you go on my site, mind@6truth.com, and make an appointment to speak to me one-on-one on Skype, and then we'll explore it together. And as I mentioned before, any new client makes an appointment for an hour, I will throw in another hour, so we'll have 2 hours in that session, and that'll give us ample time to deal with what and explore what's concerning you, or at least gives us a good head start. Yaman says, male 21 UAE, do you believe that retaining the sexual energy makes you better in life? Well, you mean not masturbating and not watching porn and all that. Well, of course, it entices you, makes you it's like holding a horse in the stall and not letting it go, holding, and it wants to go holding, so it just goes. But then when it goes, it finishes its energy very quickly because it just goes nuts, and it can't make rational decisions because it's been deprived. It's like someone who's kept hungry, and then the first thing that is going to eat so much of it, and maybe it could be actually shit, not good stuff, but he's hungry, can't even make a decision. So there got to be a balance, not extreme this way or that way. And when people are religiously or shunned from sexual activities or sexual connotation or behavior, whatnot, that creates another problem. Too much of this way or too much of that way. There has to be some balance because we are humans, and we have certain needs and certain abilities and certain limitations and so on. So it has to be balanced. It's no different than eating lots of food gives you, gas and bloating, and it's not good for health, and all the fat and all the, sweets and all that so forth. And not having any of it also is not good because your body needs some of the fat and sugar and energy, and so to turn it into energy and also and so forth. So you need the balance in there and figure out what that balance is for each person differently. Now suddenly somebody comes along and says, no, you should not eat that at all because that is the religion says, because I say so. And in some cases, religions dominate and say, the fear of God and this and that, you should not be thinking about sex. But they forget about that the body has certain needs and desires, and it has to be balanced. Like the person who says, don't eat that food because I say so. Well, the body needs that food. Doesn't matter what you say so. You say it for some reason. I don't know what that reason is, but for me, I got to have that food, at least a bit of it. So you got to understand where the balance coming, rather than these rigid ideas for the reasons that is limited to the mentality of, someone that created that, and then consider that a deity without having any evidence that actually comes from. So God has made you. If there's a God, God made you to be able to have sex, to procreate. But then you say, it wants you to procreate, but doesn't want you to think about sex. What the fuck you're talking about? So being proper is fine, but completely thinking that it's out of question, thinking about sex, it's blasphemy, it's just sin. Well, you're made in such a way that your existence depends on sex. How can you be good at sex and be able to procreate, but not be good at sex and not care about it and not like it? What the fuck are you talking about? So too much of things are rather, causing trouble. And you should be able to understand what is reasonable, what is balanced, what is not. Otherwise, it won't be a balanced life. Well, Ash, remember we talked about the neural ensemble. So when you're talking about this, that alligators flying through and all kind of things flying through it, that's a capable of the brain. When it becomes overactive, it just goes rogue and tries to, it's like a computer that is designed to do certain designed graphs and very meticulous and very clear drawings, and then something goes wrong in the glitch, and it starts drawing everything everywhere that doesn't. It's drawing, but doesn't look like it's anything. It's everything and nothing. So you're not supposed to take that seriously. You just consider that as a glitch in the programming, and not think that you got to make some sense out of these, haywired drawing things. It's just gone nuts. That's all. You're not supposed to buy into. Oh, that's my computer. Now, that's the capability. I got to figure out something out of it. It's probably legitimately drawing something. No, it's legitimately shit. It's gone malfunction. So that's what you should look at it too. When so many other images pass through your mind, it's all mix up of overactiveness of the brain, and you're not supposed to take it seriously. It's okay, fuck it. Keep making these illusions or making these pictures. I don't care. I'm not gonna debate with you about legitimacy of it or meaning of any of it. Megaman says, I've seen the video so many times, but I think now my mind clicked and said, I see you're ignoring me, so I will go away, but I'll let you know the next time you live. Good night, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, just keep on doing what you're doing. Don't pay attention to these thoughts. You'll be okay. Slobodan says groinal sponsor, false attraction. Well, listen, you can have groinal sponsor towards a shiny statue of a woman or a man in the middle of the street, and that's not a human being. That's not a real person. But you can have a groinal response to some kind of a round shaped glass or colorful something, because everything, it runs through the brain and it connects itself to connotation of sex, because that's what it does. And sex being part of our identity, part of our abilities for procreation, it's prime directive of our life. So it connects everything to sex. It can connect everything to sex. So you can get a groinal response just sitting there doing nothing, thinking about, I don't know, just the tree. But if you think about, oh, would that tree actually give me a response? Then you might get a response, because then the thought is redirected towards that part of the body, and that automatically has connotation of sex, and the word sex has a meaning, and that meaning creates a growing response. And you say, oh, that was a growing response toward that tree, or toward that statue, or toward that male, or toward that woman. It's there. It doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to interpret it. It has its own sequence of connotations and associations in the brain, and eventually one of those associations, which has a meaning of sex relative to what you consider sex, is interesting, and then it makes a reaction. But before that reaction, so many images and so many words and thoughts have passed through, and you remember one of them that is contrary to what you would your lifestyle is, and then you stick on that because the negative thought gets into action and says, oh, that's what caused you to have the groinal. No, I just have groinal maybe from a curtain in the street. Who said? I don't know. The car that passes by. Oh, it's a pretty car. Oh, it's a hot car that reminds me of sex, and sex reminds me of, and then you get a growing reaction. So, oh, you had a growing reaction toward a car. Then you're a carosexual. What? Start interpreting any of these shit. All right. Okay, guys. We have hit all the questions, and we have no more questions here. And before any more question comes in, that's the time I say I love you all. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. And I look forward to talk to you again next time at I don't know, bonus live stream, as Luna said, or next Saturday at 1 p.m. or 9 p.m., where we have live streams on Saturdays, Vancouver time, 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. And look forward to see you then, and let your friends know this is what we do to help everyone and reach everyone. So help us to reach more people and help more people. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.